The arena fell silent as champion Zaxter stepped into the combat circle. His scales gleamed like polished obsidian under the harsh lights, each one a testament to countless victories. The Crithian warrior stood nearly 9 feet tall, his forearms flexing in practiced rhythm. Across the galaxy, beings spoke his name in hushed whispers: the undefeated, the untouchable, the breaker of bones. Eva Chen leaned against the viewing platform's railing, her dark eyes tracking every movement in the pit below. She'd been studying Zaxter for 3 weeks now, watching fight recordings until she could predict his breathing patterns in her sleep. "You're actually going through with this?" Liam's voice carried concern as he approached her side. The young pilot had been Ava's partner for 2 years, and he'd never seen her back down from a challenge. But this was different. "The bounty's too good to pass up," Eva replied, her tone matter-of-fact, "and someone needs to knock that overgrown lizard down a peg." "Eva, he's killed 17 challengers in the last year alone. The bookmakers have you at 500 to 1 odds." Liam ran a hand through his sandy hair, frustration evident in every gesture. "You're a good fighter, but he's predictable." Eva cut him off, a slight smile playing at her lips. "He relies entirely on his reputation and physical advantages. Watch right cross, left uppercut, tail sweep, every single time." Below them, Zaxter dispatched another challenger with exactly that combination. The crowd roared. Credits changed hands. Another name was added to the champions list. "Your funeral," Liam muttered, but he squeezed her shoulder. "I'll have the ship ready for a quick exit." Eva descended to the preparation chamber, her heartbeat steady. She'd grown up in the combat rings of New Shanghai, where human opponents learned early that strength meant nothing against speed and precision. Her grandfather's words echoed in her mind: "The bigger they are, the slower they think." The announcement came in a dozen languages simultaneously. "Next, challenger, Eva Chen, human, terror system." Laughter erupted from the alien crowd. Humans were known across the galaxy as decent engineers, adequate diplomats, and mediocre traders. Warriors, the very idea was absurd. Zaxter's translator boomed his response across the arena: "Another soft flesh wants to die today. How refreshing. I promise to make it quick, little creature." Eva entered the circle, wearing simple combat attire, no armor, no weapons, just reinforced gloves and determination. She stood 5'6" to his 9 feet, her 140 pounds against his 600. The mismatch was comical. "Ready positions." The referee called. Zaxter assumed his standard stance, all 4 arms raised in a display meant to intimidate. His tail coiled behind him, ready to strike. He'd won 100 fights beginning exactly this way. Eva bounced on the balls of her feet, hands loose at her sides. She appeared relaxed, almost disinterested. What happened next would be analyzed, debated, and replayed across the galaxy for years to come. Zaxter moved to execute his traditional opening, a devastating overhead smash with his primary arms. It was a technique that had shattered bones and ended careers. But the blow never landed. Ava's body was already in motion before his synapses finished firing. She'd anticipated the attack 3 seconds before it came, had seen it in the slight shift of his weight, the tensing of his shoulder muscles, while he committed to the overhead strike. She slipped inside his guard like smoke through fingers. The first punch struck his solar plexus, or rather, where his primary breathing organ resided, hard and fast, with all her body weight behind it. The second came 1/10 of a second later, a vicious hook to his liver equivalent. The pain receptors hadn't even registered the first blow. The third was an uppercut that caught his jaw at an angle designed to rattle his brain against his skull. Humans had spent millennia perfecting the art of hitting each other. Eva had studied those millennia. The fourth landed in his throat, collapsing his secondary air passage. The fifth, the one that would make the headlines, was a jumping knee strike that connected with his snout with a satisfying crack. Total elapsed time, 1.7 seconds. Thor stumbled backward, all 4 arms flailing. His eyes were wide with shock and pain. Blood purple and thick dripped from his shattered nose. The crowd had gone absolutely silent. For the first time in his career, the champion had been hit 5 times, and he hadn't even realized the fight had begun. Eva didn't give him time to recover. While he was still processing what had happened, she was already moving again. A leg sweep took out his knee. As he fell, she locked one of his arms and used his own momentum to slam him face first into the arena floor. The referee was too stunned to call it. "Yield," Eva said calmly, pressure on his arm increasing. or I break it. Zax the Rest translator struggled to convey his response, a mixture of shock, pain, and grudging respect. I yield. The arena exploded into chaos. Bookmakers scrambled to process the impossible outcome. Spectators shouted in a dozen languages. Somewhere in the upper levels, Liam was collecting a fortune in winnings. Eva released the champion and stood, offering him a hand upper. Very human gesture. Zaxstar stared at it for a long moment, before accepting. As he rose to his feet, towering over her once more, his translator crackled to life. How? He asked simply. Eva smiled. You're fast and strong, champion. But we humans, we've been fighting each other for our entire existence. It's kind of our specialty. You were trained to win fights. I was trained to end them. She turned to leave, then paused. Also, you telegraph your moves about 3 seconds before you make them. Might want to work on that. As Eva walked out of the arena to Liam's waiting embrace, the galaxy learned an important lesson that day. Humans might not be the strongest, or the fastest, or the most advanced species in the cosmos, but they had been to war with themselves for 10,000 years, and that kind of experience, that was an education no other species could match. Told you it was predictable, Eva said to Liam with a grin. He shook his head in amazement. You're absolutely insane. Yeah, she agreed, but we're also very rich now. Drinks are on me. Behind them, the champion sat in his corner, still trying to understand what had happened. No one had ever hit him before today. The human had landed 5 blows before he even knew the fight had begun. And across the galaxy, humanity's reputation quietly shifted. Engineers and diplomats, yes, but warriors, perhaps it was time to reconsider.